stop making friends with the bad guys?
Sorry.
Pabu!
Mako is never going to be Bolin. Bolin's never going to be Mako.
I'm gonna go back to my awesome train where we bring freedom wherever we go.
Our worth and our identity are tied to these things, and if they're bad and wrong, does that mean I'm bad and wrong?
I'm so sorry about the way we left things.
He engages in some great perspective taking here. You did what you thought was right.
They're making space
I love you.
I love you too. Now go!
to have something now that they never had before.
It's Lord Zuko! I can't believe it!
West Coast, we're coming to California, baby!
Live shows.
Nailed
18th
it.
in Los Angeles, 20th in the Bay Area. A Q&A, live meet and greet, merch.
Link is in the description below.
It will be fun.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy, though today it's going to be TV therapy. My name is Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist, and I really love Korra.
I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker, and Justice for Legend of Korra, this show is a masterpiece. It's just slightly, maybe, less of a masterpiece than Avatar: The Last Airbender, so people thought it was poop, but it's great.
Yeah, it's really solid. And today we're going to be talking about Bolin and Mako doing some sibling family therapy.
Excellent.
So we're going to look at how to resolve their conflict, specifically what advice I would get, and Alan will tell us why Korra is underrated and chef's kiss.
We need to talk. Look, sometimes you can be so infuriating.
Save your breath. You've already made it clear how you feel about me.
No, I haven't. What I'm
Of course,
trying
the
to
brothers are liking the same girl.
say, crazy. I also think you're pretty amazing.
So, you do like me?
And who wouldn't, right?
But
Kind of feels like
like a song-
Zach and Kelly and Slater to me, but whatever.
feeling really
And Screech.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
I like that she blushes. Nice touch. Dude, this might be my favorite moment in the entire show.
great. Look what you did.
You're blaming me?
You kissed me.
You kissed me back!
What makes a joke work on screen when it's mostly just a visual gag? And this is the thing you can only do in animation, by the way.
Yes.
You can't have that pause, like the long stare you can have, but then that like halfway buildup where it's like he makes that face that's like
It's not his face.
it's not his face. It goes completely off
It's
model.
the bitter beer face from the 90s for those
Yes.
commercials.
bitter beer face.
Larry?
Timing is everything in a joke, and what makes a joke work, what makes a scare work, it's the same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
surprise. You need to surprise someone either with something horrifying or terrifying,
Asami, did you know Korra likes Mako?
or you surprise them with something that makes them laugh. This is an involuntary response that we have, especially us. The amount of laughing we just did was involuntary.
They're capable of these really heavy-hitting, dramatic and action beats and thrilling beats, but like a lot of strong emotion, and it's powerful and it's inspiring and it's uplifting or whatever. And then you have abject silliness and the animation style completely shifts.
To the absolute dumbest stuff.
And it only works because they dial it up so high.
Exactly.
If you rein it in a little, it's not nearly as good.
Just
Yeah,
listen, everybody who worked on Korra, thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice.
worth it.
Worth every minute of your time.
Mako puts Bolin first habitually. Right now he's having this like open confession to Korra of his feelings, but the moment that Bolin is hurt, he just drops anything that has to do with Korra. And Mako's got priority issues anyway. He drops Asami for Korra, doesn't stop her from kissing him, and then drops Korra for Bolin. Poor Mako can't figure out which way is up right now.
Or ever.
But part of the roles in this relationship is he's the older brother. He's going to put himself to the side and all of this, and he's going to go after his brother and look after him. Jesus would be proud. You know, when you're busy out saving the world with Team Avatar, you might understandably feel like you don't have time to book a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, those pro bending injuries might not even happen during your typical 9 to 5.
Or if you're trying to train a whole new generation of airbenders, you're probably on a pretty tight schedule.
And we all know that dark spirits like Vatu could attack anytime, day or night.
But with ZocDoc, having no time to book a doctor's appointment is actually no problem.
Go to ZocDoc anytime, 24/7.
To find a doctor you love and to make your health plan happen.
Even if it's way after hours.
ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality, in-network doctors so you can find someone you love.
You can find doctors that are right for you, see their real-time availability, and click to instantly book.
No waiting around, no phone tag.
You can find in-network appointments with more than 150,000 healthcare providers across all 50 states.
But what about the 4 nations?
If they were real, I'm sure you could easily search them. What you can search is by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you.
I wonder if they have any waterbending healers.
ZocDoc appointments happen fast.
Typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking.
You can even score same-day appointments.
You know what? I'm going to use ZocDoc to find and book great doctors near me.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy to find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy.
This message is sponsored by ZocDoc. You never would have guessed.
ZocDoc!
My brother here?
So we're going to see an example of an intervention.
Come on.
Do they work, and is this the good one? I'll have
You
thoughts.
home, bro.
Don't call me that. You're not my brother.
That was not snot, that was a noodle.
The betrayer. The only one I can trust anymore is Pabu.
With the belly just so full.
We've got the biggest match of our lives tonight. Let's go.
No, I'm not going anywhere with you, you traitor.
Guess we'll have to do this the hard way. I told you dating a teammate was a bad idea.
You're a bad idea. Put me down. Put me down.
And then just Pabu not being able to lift himself off the ground and just sort of wheeling his limbs simultaneously makes me want to vomit and vomit from joy. Like, I don't understand. It's so visceral to me for some reason, and I've never had a fat dog, so I don't know what it is.
So you're saying that's not snot, that's a noodle.
Well, yeah, because he's been eating all the bowls of green noodles, and there's so many of them that are just packed into his sinuses.
When do interventions work and when do they not? Generally, I don't like that Mako just walks in, says, this is what we're doing, this is what you need, get up, picks up his brother and goes. And by generally, I mean in most life situations. But the very definition of an intervention is normal conversation isn't working. Trying to help a person see reason isn't working. Apologies, taking accountability, perspective taking, they're not working. This person is just determined to hurt themselves or noodle themselves into oblivion. They've worked so hard for so long for this tournament that Mako knows Bolin may not feel like doing anything right now, but if he continues and we just let this whole thing go, he's really gonna regret it.
Right.
And so, I don't know, I haven't participated in many interventions. I would love to know from some of you who have. I know there are those watching right now who have had to do interventions for people that you love. How did it go? What worked and what didn't?
Are you okay? How's your shoulder?
It's messed up pretty
This
bad.
is one of the most realistic
It'll
sibling
be all right.
reconciliation scenes I've ever seen.
Are we gonna be all right?
Of course we are. We're brothers. We'll get through this mess. I'm sorry.
Me too. Girls.
Seriously.
What's great about this is, are we going to be okay? Of course we are. We're brothers. And then he says, I'm sorry. And of course you all know how I feel about apologies and accountability. That's beautiful. But what I want to hone in on is they actually don't know their way through this right now. They're still on a team with Korra. They still both have feelings for her. They're not sure what the future is going to hold or how they're going to get through it. But the sheer faith that they will and the commitment by both of them that they will. This I see all the time in family therapy and couples therapy. This is how a lot of therapy sessions end, frankly. Right. Sometimes you have major breakthroughs, sometimes you have small steps forward, and in the aggregate over time, things improve and they heal. But sometimes you have these really rough sessions and they end, and it can feel kind of hopeless in the sense of, I don't know how we're going to get there.
Right.
But I love when the sessions end with the people in my office saying, but I know that we will.
Yeah.
I know that we're going to sort it out because I value us. And the other person says, I value us too. And it's like, we're going to keep working at it until we figure it out. And that is so realistic because it's a process.
Well, and it's one of the differences, too, between sort of serialized and episodic TV.
Sure.
Serialized, you can have a long, stretching story arc that goes for multiple episodes, multiple seasons even. Episodic, you kind of have to get back to square one at the beginning of every episode. Oh, I missed the last 3 weeks. What's happening this week on Friends? Oh, it's the one where they, I don't know, title.
And it needs to feel like you can jump in at any time.
Right.
Are you gonna help or not?
You know, I recall a time when I needed your help, and you basically told me to get a life.
So that's a no. What am I supposed to do now?
I don't know, Mako. Figure it out. Remember? That's what you said to me. Hurts, doesn't it?
Vocal work from PJ Byrne should have won 37 Emmys. I can't make the sound that he just made, so I'm not going to try, but it's the funniest sound that's ever come out of a human mouth. You could take that sound and put it into any movie and get a laugh.
So we see throughout the series a very strong difference in personality, focus, and values. In fact, if we go back to, the 4 core personality types that I like to talk about, dreamer, healer, closer, thinker, Bolin is pure dreamer. And he's got some healer in him, but he's pure just like big ideas, lots of fun, lots of relaxation, and struggles with details and follow through, and can kind of be a screw up. And then you have Mako, who's definitely a closer, laser focused, determined, will always follow through, will always see it through, super reliable, but can also be a bulldozer and can put tasks before relationships. And so this conflict is what John and Julie Gottman call unsolvable conflicts. Now, they're talking about it in the case of couples, but it's true in most relationships.
In any relationship, you're going to have unsolvable stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because what that comes down to is who people are. It's definitely a good idea to become the healthiest, most well-rounded, and most skilled version of yourself when it comes to communication and conflict resolution and all these things. But at the end of the day, you're still you.
Right.
And the person that you're interacting with is still them. And there are going to be things that are unsolvable.
There are gaps that you will not build a bridge over.
And so a big requirement for the relationship to last is mutual tolerance.
Yep.
It's just, you know what? I love this person. I don't say this insultingly for either of us. There's a lot of this for us.
We have so much mutual tolerance.
Yeah.
Like, there's the stuff you do that drives me absolutely batshit. And every time it happens, like, it feels like a personal attack.
Uh-huh.
I know that it isn't. And I take a minute to go, stop being such a little whiny baby. You're fine. Jono didn't actually hurt you, and he meant the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's have another meeting.
This is something that I would say to them in therapy is, hey, Mako, Bolin's gonna Bolin. Hey, Bolin, Mako's gonna Mako. How can you meet in the middle somewhere? What I would say here is Mako does need to lead with, hey, I know when you asked for my help, I wasn't there for you. And I understand the hypocrisy that now I'm asking you for your help. And that's a crappy thing to do to somebody, and you deserve better, and I'm sorry. Mako could have led with that. Or Bolin could have said, hey, remember when I asked for your help and you said no? I'm going to be here for you because I'm your brother and I love you, but I want you to know it kind of sucks that you weren't there for me and you're asking me now.
Yeah.
Either of those conversations could have happened, but neither of them would have been as entertaining as this was.
Nothing nearly as funny.
Well, and also speaking of brothers who need therapy, but in this case, like way more therapy, we've got a Patreon exclusive episode on Tonrock and Unalaq, Korra's dad and uncle.
Their relationship is not as healthy.
What do you do with family members turn to fanaticism? That episode is on our Patreon exclusive right now. Check it out.
This is the only letter we ever got from San. It says he married a beautiful girl from the Fire Nation and had 2 wonderful sons.
And then she dies.
He sent this picture of you all on his birthday.
Dang it.
Look, Mako. Dad's wearing your scarf.
I'm so sad that I never got to meet your mother, but you have her eyes. I know from looking at you two that she must have been a wonderful bride for my boy.
I'm sure they would want you to have this.
again, speaking to those tonal shifts in this show, Avatar does it just as well. You know, absolutely silly, bonkers anime comedy and big, giant, world-shaking action and sweet, tender moments. Obviously, they feel very strongly bonded as brothers. They're orphans. All they had was each other.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful scene, and it's such an important thing for the pacing of the show. You don't want everything to be one note. You don't even want everything to be two notes, unless you're a shark.
Ow!
Moron.
The creators of the show, absolute masters of blending tones and switching between tones.
Something I love about Bolin in this scene is there's no jokes.
He's not being silly.
And he's a character who's often silly even when he's sad, as we saw in our first clip. And so the decision to just have him tear up and wipe his eyes, you have to know when to deploy the humor. If there's one thing I can't stand in pop culture, it's like you don't have to undercut everything with a joke. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes at the end of a big dramatic moment to have a joke is perfectly placed. But when you have a comic relief character and that's all they do, then it just feels predictable and stale. It's like, well, we can't really feel anything because Bolin's about to say something stupid. And he doesn't. And it really adds weight to this scene, this loss that this family has experienced together. So where would I take them from here? Mako has been the de facto leader because his brother's kind of a ne'er-do-well screw-up in a lot of ways. Not in all the ways, he's a very talented athlete. But Mako has the seriousness of someone who is orphaned and has to look out for his younger brother. See, I'm curious with Mako, how much of this is his natural personality and how much of this is survival on the streets. And he had to grow up really fast. So his brother could be a child.
Right.
And Bolin also for a long time has allowed Mako to assume the role of, you're my de facto parent, you're the mature one, so I get to be the silly one. A bit more balance will be good for both of them. And so when we see this seriousness from Bolin, it would allow Mako, if he wanted to have some levity, have some fun, right? And for these three, the way forward through grief is we honor what was and we make room for what is or what will be. And what they have right now is this connection with a grandmother that they've never had. And this is my definition of mourning. When I say you honor what was to make space for what is or what will be, they're making space to have something now that they never had before. Oh my gosh.
We have to find a way out of here before Zahir gets his hands on Korra.
Take me with you. I haven't seen my wife and 5 kids in 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
4 years?
The first few months were great. I could finally get some sleep. Now I really missed them.
Really dark joke.
Listen, Bolin, this is up to you. I know you can metal bend.
You can metal bend? No.
Yes, you can. I believe in you.
I believe in you too, Bolin.
I appreciate that, Mako, and fellow prisoner man, but I've been trying and trying, and I've never been able to do it. Not even a little.
You've always had the ability deep down. You just haven't had the right motivation. But this is your time.
Mako's got Michael Keaton eyebrows.
You can do it. Bolin!
So when is it good to be a cheerleader and when is it actually not supportive? Because right now this seems on the surface like a great thing. I believe in you, you can do it.
Metal bending! I can't metal bend.
Always with the snot.
Do you want me to dive in? Or?
You were making such a cogent point, and it was going to be uplifting and inspiring, and then we got snot face.
I do love that that's a consistent character detail, though. Yes. When he strains himself in any way, his nose just... Any positive can become a negative if taken to an extreme.
Sure.
It is a great thing to have a family member or a friend who loves you and cheers you on and believes in you.
Oh, yeah.
Here, it's not especially helpful or supportive because Mako is pushing Bolin past Bolin's known limits, and he's doing it for not a selfish reason. I mean, we want to get out of prison and help Korra, like that's a noble reason, but it's definitely not, hey, I'm helping cheer you on in your dream and something you want, Bolin. Instead, it's putting pressure on you like, you are our only hope, you have to do this. And unfortunately, most people, when they feel the pressure, they don't perform. And so what is meant to be cheerleading is really, you have to be the one to do this, we're counting on you, make it work. And then you try and soften it with I believe in you, but what it really is you know.
I need you to do this thing.
So cheerleading has to be balanced with realism and an acknowledgement of what are the limits and or desires of the person in front of you. If I'm trying to cheer you down a path that you don't want to go down, that's just pushing. That's not cheering.
Right.
That's not supporting.
Also, there's another side to this. Cheering you down a path that you do want to go down, but that you do not have the capability to go down.
Yeah.
I've worked with or seen from the sidelines any number of people, particularly in my industry, because it's such a coveted, working in the film industry is so glamorous and whatever until you actually do it, and then it's a job. But from the outside, it's this big dream, and I'm going to be famous, and I'm going to do all these things, and people who support their kid or support their friend or support their girlfriend or their boyfriend who's like trying to make it in, it's like, you should support them as a person.
Yeah.
And not in this. They don't have it.
Yeah.
They should not be doing this.
They're Mike Wazowski. They're not going to be scarers.
They're never going to be scarers. Could be a comedian though.
Yeah. Could be great at something else.
Work on that.
My advice to Mako in this scene is, Mako, give it a try, but present it to Bolin as, hey, just trying different things here. I believe in you. I don't know if this is something you can do or not, but it's worth a shot. Are you willing to try?
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's not the only option. It's not you have to do this. And if Bolin's going to make it work, doing so without the pressure and the burden of expectation, he's more likely to be able to accomplish it. I mean, how often do you do something really well, especially as a kid? You're like, you do something really well and you're like, guys, come watch this. And then you can't do it. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that only happens to kids.
Get rid of him. He's with her.
Interesting ceremony, huh?
You aren't going to keep working for Kuvira now that she's going against the wishes of the entire world, are you?
You don't understand. Kuvira is helping out all the poor people in the Earth Empire. People like our family. This is for the best.
I don't know, bro.
Okay, why don't you come with me and you'll see for yourself. We've done a lot of good, and Varric is working on some new innovation.
Varric.
History.
By crushing anyone who gets in your way?
That was just some tough rhetoric to let the people know that we mean business. I mean, Kuvira is basically just like Korra. She might seem hard to deal with.
That's a great face.
Seems like she's just a dictator who's taking the Earth Kingdom by force.
Okay, so you think your new best friend in there would be a
So,
better leader than
if you're
Kuvira?
on opposite political sides with family members, it looks like this.
I'm making a difference out there. What are you doing, huh? You're just some glorified butler for some snotty rich bozo.
I'm sorry. I don't want to work for your
coif.
glorious emperor and her military dictatorship.
Fine. I'm gonna go back to my awesome train where we bring freedom wherever we go. Enjoy licking the king's boots in your junior suite.
So good. The animation is incredible. To be fair, this is one of the very few problems I had with this show. Bolin's dumb. Like, Bolin's a dumb guy. Like, he's kind of a meathead.
Yeah,
And we love him for it.
right.
He's not a moron. In order for him to like fall in with Kuvira, he kind of has to be that and like believe it. And that's the one like real thing in the entire run of the show that really just bumped me, is like, he's not that stupid.
Well, this would work better as a season 1 arc for him if he's not experienced with dictators and villains, but he's had several years fighting these types
He
of
keeps
people.
fighting these like super villains. It's like,
Here's my slight pushback of why that doesn't actually break the story.
ooh, okay, go.
How do good people get duped by fascist dictators? Because the messaging is packaged and tied to what the good people value. Bolin values family above all else.
Kuvira did help his family.
Helped his family and convinced him that we're helping other families, but he is also looking the other way or minimizing a lot of things because he desperately wants it to be true. And this is the thing about worldviews. When we attach our identities to our beliefs or how we see things, we lose the capacity for objectivity and we lose the capacity to consider that we might be wrong. Because our worth and our identity are tied to these things, and if they're bad and wrong, does that mean I'm bad and wrong?
Right.
And having the humility and the open-mindedness and the perceptiveness to reevaluate and to say, no, who I am is a person who tries to do the right thing. And I was going down this path, but I went down it far enough to see, oh, that's not the right thing. I came back. I am not the path I was on. It was me exploring the space of what I thought was right, and now I know differently. I mean, that's where Bolin's gonna land. Spoiler alert. But this is also representative of their entire dynamic. That they approach the world, relationships, literally everything from completely different angles. In these sorts of relationships, oftentimes bridges are burned, doors are closed, people don't talk to each other. The reason they continue to find each other is because, one, they choose each other, and two, they open up to each other's perspectives enough to reconsider, to recalibrate, to make shifts in their approaches or what they're doing. Mako is never going to be Bolin.
No.
But Mako can be less task-oriented, more relationship-oriented, and have a bit more fun in his life because of his brother's influence. Bolin's never going to be Mako. But Bolin can have just an ounce of critical thinking skills, perhaps.
Korra, as the Avatar, you need to standardize these Pai Sho rules.
Okay, I'll put that on my to-do list right after bringing back the Air Nation and taking down the group that tried to kidnap me.
That's cool, whenever you get to it.
Because of his brother's influence. And
I'm gonna go back to my cool train where we bring freedom.
And take more responsibility. But also a big reason why they work is because of repair. They are amazing at repair.
Bolin, I'm so glad you're back. I was worried about you.
We all were.
Thanks, guys. Mako, I'm so sorry about the way we left things. I'm such an idiot.
Accountability kink
I ran
activated.
off anyway, like an idiot. You were right, and I'm just an idiot. I hope
Easy.
that
Hey,
I'll be
hey.
able to earn your trust
It's my
again.
brother you're talking about.
If anyone has lost people's trust, it's me. Ever since Kuvira kicked my butt, no one even wants me around.
We want you around. And Bolin, you're not an idiot. You were just doing what you thought was right.
Oh, I love you guys.
Just curious about the
I really
world.
want to hug again.
This is a very subtle example of rubbing off on each other in a positive way.
Okay.
That sounds dirty. Didn't mean it dirty.
I don't need any protection.
Believe me, she doesn't.
This is a very positive example of accepting influence.
Okay.
The Mako we see here towards the end of the show, you see how readily he forgives his brother.
Sure.
Earlier in the show, he might have been like, yeah, you are an idiot, and I told you so.
She's a dictator.
One of Bolin's strengths, even though he is kind of a dopey cinnamon roll, is he is so quick to forgive.
He's a human cinnamon roll.
Because he loves people. He's so quick to forgive. And I look at this scene and I'm like, that's Mako learning from Bolin.
And he's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
And buttery.
Okay, listen. Come back to us, Alan.
Okay, sorry.
This episode is brought to you by Cinnabon.
Oh boy, I wish it was.
But between Bolin's accountability and Mako's being quick to forgive, nobody here is saying it was okay.
Right.
Like we saw at the beginning of this episode, they're going to choose each other and they're going to find a way always. And that's what makes them work. And he's not an idiot. Well, he is an idiot. But
Not in that specific way.
when he says I'm an idiot, he should say it with love and acceptance. Not self-flagellation. It should be like, I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot. Well, what are you gonna do? Idiot's gonna idiot. And to your point about Mako having grown up a bit, he engages in some great perspective taking here. You did what you thought was right. He's not beating Bolin up for being an idiot. He's saying like, look, man, I know you're an idiot, but in your dumb brain, you thought this was right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, you thought it was right, you now know it's not right, and now you're doing the right thing. Great.
It's an example of grace, of the concept of extending to someone something that they don't necessarily deserve, but you give it to them anyway out of love. Bolin deserves a scolding by his brother. And earlier in the show, he might have gotten one.
Possibly a war crimes tribunal. Jury's out. We don't know what was happening on that freedom train.
One thing Mako shows here that I think is beautiful, it's one thing to hold the mirror up and even push a person when they're not seeing it and they need to see it.
Right.
It's another thing entirely that when a person is humble and accountable, you just drop it. That you don't have the need to like keep berating them for something. That's a sign of maturity. And that's beautiful. That's bridge building. I love these two. They are a healthy family because healthy families have conflict, they have disagreements, they have differences, they choose each other, they find a way through them. I'm just here to grease the wheels a little bit and offer some therapeutic tips for doing it. Like maybe don't roast your brother alive in a hot tub, just have a conversation.
But honestly, if you want to learn how to be a good person, just watch Avatar and Korra. Like, this is the handbook.
So until next time,
as an actor, I have to take care of my instrument, and my body is my instrument.
You're a bad idea.
And
watch
movies.
And Korra.
Watch Korra. Just watch Korra over and over. You don't need anything else.
It's really good.
We want to shout out and thank our patrons. They get extra long director's cuts with no commercials, and they come out a little bit early. This one's very, very long. There's a lot more stuff in it because we couldn't put it on the YouTube because it's too long. Anyway, people with names like these names.
E-Rock.
Jackie.
Seasick Shells.
Jack Denhotog.
Nickel.
Nikhil.
We love you. Thank you. Check out our Patreon.
Thanks, patrons.